Welcome everyone. Hail to my fellow Selvan citizens. I am I.D.G. Curry, and I would like to present to you the official Shogun of the Heavens YouTube channel, where we will be walking the path in each chapter of Book 1, Fall of Immortals. Narrating this thrilling, action-packed, and dramatic fantasy will be yours truly, I.D.G. Curry, aka, for these sample readings, the Prophet of Pagulane. Now, without further ado, enter with me as we plummet to Gaia and into Book 1, Fall of Immortals. Prophet, proceed. Chapter 11, Balthor the Basher. Within the busy halls of the Selvan Palace, urgent news desperately runs to reach the king. "Sire! Sire! I bring urgent news!" cried out Jordan. He burst into the conversation King Lovi and Darwin were having in the palace council chamber. "My king, there are Gallic invaders raiding from the north. The Mahes have been driven out of most of their land, though they are managing to hold their position in the western region of Pride Forest. Bastia has been overrun. The Gallics have seized control and have now made Market City their capital," Jordan reported. "Bastia? But that is how we supply our workforce in granite. What does this mean for our trade?" Darwin asked. Both he and Jordan served the crown as Precepto Legum, advisors to the king. 7 advisors make up the Selvan King's council and aid in his decisions, particularly during times of war. The city of Selva, over generations, had become the most prominent kingdom in the southeastern region of the land. Among the kingdoms in the western continent, Selva boasted the largest army. 26,000 were ready to give their lives for the glory of Selva. Selva city itself was well maintained. Its granite walls have repelled attacks for centuries. Outside the walls are mostly farmlands, growing fruits, vegetables, and livestock. Smaller towns were scattered throughout the outskirts of its territories, and its citizens were primarily a humanoid of one predator or another. Reptiles, wildcats, wild canines, boars, and more. The males had the bodies and faces of large men, yet possessed the physical and instinctual characteristics of whichever animal they had evolved from. The females were a different story, however. The more beautiful the female was, the more dangerous her species would typically be. There was a minor human population of nobles amongst the citizens of Selva. However, the majority of the populace were bound in servitude, sometimes as a source of food for the Selvans or building roads and completing other burden-filled tasks. Jordan was reptilian, and Darwin was a brown Ursidae. Both wore the draping purple vestments that come with their office. The Order of Precepto Legum was the most prestigious rank in the royal court, answering only to the king, although ordering soldiers is an authority reserved for the ranking generals and commander of the Selvan infantry. In the end, however, all in the kingdom knelt before Lovi, king of Selva. Lovi was a descendant of the Mahes, yet he became separated from his clan and their ways at an early age. Since becoming king, Lovi had always maintained a friendly relationship with them. He was a white lion with a large stature and royal blue eyes, while his golden mane served as his crown. Adopted into the royal family, Lovi eventually married his adopted sister Ilu, now Queen of Selva. All trade and contracts with Bastia are presumably terminated. Acknowledge King Lovi. We need to prepare for a siege, sire. At your command, I will begin collecting the harvest and organizing rations, Jordan suggested. A siege? Why should we allow them so close to our capital city when we can meet them in the field on our terms? Asked Darwin. If our scouts are correct, their numbers estimate around 52,000 Galics. These are not simple savages from the north. They are battle-hardened men, and they outnumber us heavily, Jordan answered. Your Majesty, perhaps it may be possible to negotiate with their leader. Have the scouts identified their chief? Asked Darwin. Negotiating with thieves and raiders will never conclude in a reasonable outcome. They have come to take what they want and kill any who disagree. As far as they are concerned, what they plunder was their property to begin with, replied King Lovi. How long do we have until they reach our borders? Lovi asked Jordan. They are a 12-day march away from these walls, my king, drawing ever near, he answered. How many soldiers do we currently have in the infantry? Could we not hire mercenaries to fill in the gap in our ranks? Lovi asked his advisors. None of the mercenaries allied to us would make up for such a substantial lack of numbers, sire. Their army outnumbers ours 2-1, and I fear any mercenary faction would be a waste of gold and effort, Jordan answered. Well, as a matter of fact, there is one mercenary group that may turn the tide in our favor, Darwin mentioned hesitantly. Don't even waste breath mentioning those rebel outlaws, uttered Jordan, dismissing the suggestion he assumed Darwin was about to make. Who do you have in mind, Darwin? We need options if we are to decide the proper course of action, King Lovi asked. The League of Pagulane, sire. If the stories are true, there is no task too great for them to accomplish. I believe if we make them a sizable offer, they may be willing to fight for us, suggested Darwin. Preposterous! Have you forgotten that we placed a bounty on their heads for the nobles and officers they have killed? If His Majesty requests aid from these outlaws, it could be seen as a sign of desperation and weakness, Jordan argued. Lord Jordan, we are against insurmountable odds. Our neighbors will most likely watch as the enemy tire themselves out, besieging our city and raiding our lands before coming to our aid, Lovi projected. Darwin, how do we get word to the League? He asked. The same way you get word to any mercenary. Post a reward high enough to get their attention. If it pleases you, my king, invite them to the palace by royal invitation. This way, suspicion will not add to their delay, and terms can be reached with civility, Darwin answered. Very well, Darwin. I will trust you to make the arrangements. If they should come, the League of Pagulane will be my guest and under my protection. Spread word throughout the land and pray it reach their ear in time. Shogun of the Heavens Book 1 is available on Amazon and Amazon Kindle or for order at your local Barnes & Noble's bookstore. The Amazon link to purchase the book is in the description of the video. Behold, as we all dive into the world of myths and fiction. Book 2, The Throne Crusher, is still set to be released on December 9th, 2024. This installment changes the tempo of the story, allowing us to go deeper into popular role characters who will now step to the forefront of this epic tale. On this channel, we will be providing you a series of samples read from the Shogun of the Heavens book series and complemented by visuals from the story as envisioned by the author. Please like and share the video, subscribe to our channel, and comment below. Then, while you're at it, follow us on Facebook and Instagram, where you can compare our competing galleries of artworks brought to life from the story. Thank you.